Hello and welcome back to another end-up-with-our video. Today we are talking about Tropical Storm Rick, which has formed in the East Pacific. So let's get right on into it, starting off here with the current statistics for this storm. Rick currently has maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, minimum central pressure of 1,000 millibars, and is moving west-northwest at 6 miles per hour. Let's move on down to our warnings and cone, and we can see here that this storm is expected to become a hurricane sometime during the day on Saturday, and eventually make landfall in, I'd say, southwest Mexico, right around early Monday as a hurricane. And we do have hurricane and tropical storm watches issued for the coastline of southwest Mexico. After the storm makes landfall, it will deform back into a tropical storm and a tropical depression within the 24 hours after it makes landfall. So here's our arrival time of winds with wind speed probabilities turned on. And you can see that the greatest chance of tropical storm force winds is from now until Saturday at 8 p.m. earliest. Then we see that the highest likelihood of tropical storm force winds on land is 70 to 80% in southwest Mexico. So let's move on here to the current satellite imagery for this storm. So Rick is a larger storm in the sense of things. So we can see here a lot of thunderstorm developments, even in the outer bands of the storm and that central rotation. So a very good looking tropical storm. Moving on here to the current storm information, we're going to start off here with our global and hurricane models. Most models show this heading straight into the southwest Mexican coastline. Others have it taking a turn into the coastline, and others have it turning away from the coastline of Mexico. The Gfs ensemble shows that turn away from the coastline, so the storm parallels the coast for a little bit before eventually turning back in toward the Mexican coastline. At the same time, it does reach its max intensity, 992 millibars, at 48 hours. Next up is the GEPS, which shows the storm completely all over the place. I mean, really, this average here, this black line that shows kind of the mean of all of these model paths, is also going to be very inconsistent because all of these models are so inconsistent as well. But generally a shift from the north to the west, and the storm stays relatively weak. Finally, our intensity guidance. Most models do show this increasing in strength up to a category 1 or 2, then after about 48 hours falling off as it makes landfall. Now others have this staying as a tropical storm for its entire life cycle, and one here shows it going all the way up to category 4, category 5 strength, which is possible but unlikely. Here is the European ensemble, which shows this storm paralleling the coastline of Mexico, doesn't make landfall, at least that mean track. Now, there are individual spaghetti strands, as I like to call them, that do have this making landfall in Mexico, but the mean, the average track does not. So here's the GFS model, and we're going to be tracking Rick here through the GFS. So you can see here that we start off with a relatively weak storm that rapidly intensifies, or at least there's a possibility of rapid intensification as it moves toward the Mexican coastline. So let's take a look here at our wind speeds. So right now, really not much. Then we move into this rapid intensification stage where we go from tropical storm to hurricane. And let me see if I could try and get closer. I don't believe I can. I cannot. So we're just gonna have to deal with the East Pacific view here. But hurricane force winds until it makes landfall, and then look at that, all of that strong wind has been torn apart by the mountainous terrain of parts of western Mexico. So if this storm does hit western Mexico, which the National Hurricane Center does expect it to do, it will be very short-lived in a sense, as once it gets past the initial coastline, it's going to start interacting with those mountains, and therefore it will start to, I wouldn't say shear off, but reduce the overall wind speed of the storm. So this, if Rick makes landfall in Mexico, expect it to be very short-lived over land. It won't be one of those long haulers that go miles upon miles upon miles as a tropical storm or a hurricane, like we saw with Ida. Ida stayed a hurricane tropical storm for a little bit after it made landfall, and that ended up continuing all the damages and the flooding. With this storm, the impacts are just along the coast. The storm will get torn apart by the mountains, therefore you really don't have to worry about this trekking across all of Mexico. Just if you're on the coast of southwest Mexico, right in here, be precautious, take your normal precautions. But that is all the information I have for Tropical Storm Rick at the moment. If you want updates on the storm, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Therefore, if I do post an update, you will be getting a notification if they hit that notification bell. But that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time.